Welcome to our third class of longevity. Some of you, it's your first class, I understand. And the theme this week is around the longevity mindset. This is something that I could literally talk about all day long. And that is because you hear so much about longevity and anti-aging and all of this, but the underlying message of all of that is that we're going downhill, we're broken, we need something outside of ourselves to heal ourselves. Even the natural health community is always saying, well, you need this supplement, you need this pill, you need this ointment, you need something. And so what I would like you to understand is that your body is designed to heal and adapt. That's what our body is designed to do. And you know why I can say that? Surgery. A surgeon would not, fearlessly cut you open, take things out, put things back in, do some carpentry. If that surgeon didn't know that they'll stitch you up and then your body will heal itself, right? The surgeon is not healing you. The surgeon is cutting you open, your body is healing you. I mean, how many times have you cut yourself, cooking with a knife or bruised yourself or whatever? You know that the body is going to heal from that. So the whole idea of healing and adaptation it's the same thing. So this is why we need to understand that in order for your body to heal or adapt, it needs some kind of stimulus, right? So, getting yourself cut open is a kind of stimulus for the body to kick into its healing processes. And the same thing is happening when we're trying to train our body, when we're trying to get stronger or develop better balance or make our tissues more resilient. We need a certain kind of stimulus to kick that into gear. Without stimulus, then the body is too efficient to waste its resources on building things that you're not asking it to build. Does that make sense? And whether or not we're aware, surgery is obviously a very intentional signal to the body that you need to heal. And so is a training stimulus. If you're, practicing a balancing pose or you're doing something that fatigues the body, so that's telling the body it needs to get stronger there. Adaptation is happening all the time. So your body is adapting to the seated positions you're in. Anything that you repeat a lot or where you stay for a long period of time, your body is adapting to that. So that's why we see so much head forward posture. We see faulty postures. We also see wonky walking mechanics and stuff. It's nobody teaches us how to move well. Well, people try to tell us to sit up straight, but we fall out of that position because we go unconscious. We're unconscious to our body position, and we're unconscious to our habits, whether that be of posture or movement. So what we're trying to do here is give the body a new method for creating better habits. This is organization and activation. This is what I'm teaching you about how to organize your body and activate the muscles, tension the fascia. We're building stronger tissue when we do that, but building tissue takes time. You can't do that in one class. You have to do that over months and years. But if you have a good strategy for doing that and all your movements become another opportunity for applying a really good stimulus that's going to be healthful for your joints and your tissues. So that's what we're trying to do. And we're also trying to observe the body going through this healing adaptation process. So that's why we're doing self-assessment. So we're trying to develop a better movement strategy, better habits, give the body stimulus for adaptation, and then observe it. Observe it. That's what the self-assessment is for. So I know there are some concerns about, whether or not you can do the self-assessment. So those self-assessment are basically like longevity indicators, right? So I hope, did everybody watch the video about the self-assessment? Or even were you aware that I sent it to you? I sent it to you, okay. But I go through each of these assessments, and I just talk about like why I included that in the self-assessment. It doesn't, in the end, like if you can do it or you can't do it, it's just like, where am I on the continuum toward being able to do that? And then if you can do it, it just means, you're harder to kill by anything, okay? It doesn't mean if you can't do it, you're gonna die. It's not that, right? It's just like, let's just see how robust we can make ourselves. And let's see if we can observe ourselves moving closer to that marker. And maybe in some cases surpassing it, perhaps. And then I have to give you a new challenge. But what I want you to understand is what you believe about what your body's doing is very important. The body is basically the subconscious mind. It's the subconscious is accepting the beliefs that are told to it by the conscious mind. So with your conscious mind, you're going to be exposed constantly to messages about your degradation. I mean, right? But you can choose not to believe that. And you can choose to believe that the body is designed to heal and adapt. And it will until it runs out of life force energy. It will always do that. Sometimes when you get older, it takes a little bit longer because you don't have as much life force energy. But if you give the body the right stimulus, you will build back your energy. This is a container. It's holding the charge of the life force. So if you tap into it in the way I'm suggesting, like organization and activation is an incredibly potent movement strategy because of what it's doing in the fascia and the proteins and the piezoelectric property of your body. You're just becoming better at letting the flow of electrons move through your body. So I won't get any more sciencey than that just now, but feel free to have a 2-hour discussion with me about that after class if you like. You can do it over a coffee. The other thing I wanted to mention is that my incredible partner just went next level. And if you tap on the video of the classes, now you can comment. So if we're doing something at that moment, like, something on the video, like, I don't know, we're doing some posture, you could tap on that. It will open up a comment window, and then you could say, I really hated you at this moment, or, whatever you want to say, or ask a question, or whatever. Are you lucky I didn't throw the block at you, or whatever it might be. But, like if you want to ask a question about that posture, or make a comment, or some reflection, or some aha moment you had, so it's more interactive that way if you want. I think that would be really fun for us. So try that out. And of course, if you have any questions about it, you can reach me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so let's sit with eyes closed, sit up nice and tall. I'm going to say some things today. I want to just give you the opportunity to see how your body responds. Because if I say something like the body was designed to heal and adapt, something like that, is there a part of your mind that goes, no, it's not? Mine isn't. My body's different. My body's not designed to heal and adapt. I just want you to know, like, what you think about what your body's doing, what's going on is very, very important. So can you, as we sit here and breathe, and like I say, I'm going to challenge your thinking a little bit from time to time today, but just in this moment, open up a love channel between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. With the conscious mind, love your body, love the subconscious you, this huge ocean of awareness that is your subconscious, with access to life force energy and all kinds of resources that your conscious mind can't even conceive. But the conscious mind is the leader of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind can only acquiesce to the requests of the conscious mind. So you must consciously love and encourage the subconscious mind, which is, the body is really a representation of the subconscious mind. So as you sit here and breathe just a few more times, just feel your heart beating. Your heart is such a wonderful example of how your body is constantly serving you and you're not even paying attention. You don't need to. The body is your ultimate servant. And the biggest thing that gets between your body and the healing that it's always trying to do for you is your conscious mind and what you believe in your conscious mind. That is incredibly powerful. So now, let's take our hands in front of our hearts. You might become aware of places you want to heal, places in your body you want to send a little extra love, trust, faith. And then we'll take the mantra Om one time to launch into our practice. It's a nice deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out your mouth. Inhale. Smile to yourself. You can allow your eyes to fall open when you're ready. Let's bring our hands to the mat. We're going to move right into table pose. And we'll just sort of indulge in a little experiential exercise, just getting ourselves primed for the practice. So let's begin by spreading our fingers open wide and rooting down into the pads of every finger. And then energize from finger pads through the palm, across the wrist, through the elbows, into the arms and shoulders, as though you're dialing the hands away from each other. Feel free to go off and on a few times. Feel free to make little micro adjustments to your hand and finger position until it feels like, okay, that feels incredibly solid. Now, we're going to keep dialing the hands away from each other, but we're going to notice that we can actually still slide our shoulder blades around. So dial out, and then we're going to drop the chest down, squeezing the shoulder blades toward each other. Try not to let your belly drop a whole lot. And then we'll come up and open up the space between our shoulder blades. Okay, so sinking down. We're trying to make this go straight up and down from the floor, not on a horizontal or oblique angle or anything like that. Move it down, squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other, and then up and open the shoulder blades. One more time, squeeze, keep dialing the hands away from each other, and then up and open. Very good. Now we're gonna tuck our toes. Keep dialing the hands away from each other. Tuck your toes. Push into the toe pads. You have the option here to just push into the toe pads enough so that you can feel a little response in the belly. So, if you're not feeling that, just push more with your toes. And then if you want, you can pick up your knees. Dial hands away from each other. Push into your toes. You can push as much as you want. Like, there's an amount that's kind of necessary to make this action happen. And then there's an amount that is just basically you going into a stronger isometric contraction. And again, it's all about stimulus for the body, asking the body to get stronger. When you've given your body enough stimulus because the body feels tired. It's like, yeah, I need to get out of this position right now. Make sure that's coming from the body, though, and not just from the mind. Beautiful. We're going to keep pressing hands and feet down. One more breath, and then we'll send the hips up. Up we go. Okay, now pedal out. When you're pedaling out, try to drop your heels as close to the ground as you want. This is not because heels touching the ground is important. It's just an opportunity to move your ankle in the full range that it has available. Okay, so stop that movement and now rise onto your tippy toes and drop your heels. Rise to tippy toes
and drop the heels. Now at the same time, your hands are dialing away from each other and you're pushing your hands toward the front of the mat. Drop into your heels, rise onto your toes. One more time. Beautiful. Bring the knees down.
Untuck your toes. Press down into the top surface of your left foot so that you're feeling a strong response in the belly. Press into your right hand, take your right leg back, spin the whole leg inward and down, and then take your left hand forward, thumb side up. Now your right hand and your left foot are working together to connect the body under the body, from left hip to right shoulder. And then the back of your left shoulder and the back of your right hip are working together to connect your body across the back. Breathe. Remember, you're pressing into the left foot sufficiently so you're getting a little response, a little lift in the belly. Good. One more big breath here. And then we'll bring that hand down. We'll bring the knee down, shifting so that your left hand, you're dialing it out and pressing it down. You're pressing into the top surface of your right foot. Left leg goes back. The whole leg spins inward and down. And then you can take your right hand forward, thumb side up. Okay, so you want to feel the connection. So this is more of an experience that you want to have. So you want to feel your left hand pressing down and dialing out, spinning that energy through the arm into the shoulder, connecting across the body as you press into the top surface of your right foot, getting a response in the belly, and then back of your right shoulder, connecting to back of left hip. Breathe. Can you take smooth, slow, deep breath? One more big one. Okay, and then the hand can come down, knee comes down, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. All right, let's hold downward facing dog for a moment. And I just want to once again reinforce the importance of downward facing dog. Now, if you are doing this practice and your shoulders are, really uncomfortable, it's a little bit too much for them right now, you could have hands on blocks. That would help quite a lot. Or you could just take breaks. So in our effort to give the body sufficient stimulus to tell it to get stronger, we might need to take breaks occasionally. Okay, so that's very important. You need to respect the body, respect where it's at, take little breaks. You'll find that you come back so much stronger than you realize. So taking those breaks is actually a really good experience to have. You'll show yourself how a little bit of respite will actually re-energize you, okay? So yeah, I'm keeping you here for a bit of a long time. Notice what your body, where the sort of letting go collapse might happen. What's happening in your hands? Are they turning into like little claws? Are they passive? Make sure you're pressing into the pads of your fingers and dialing out. Push your hands forward. Great, toes are pointing straight ahead. We're dialing the knees away from each other here and pulling the feet toward the back of the mat. Feeling that convergence of energy behind the navel in front of the spine. Beautiful. And now we're going to shift forward as we inhale to upper push-up position. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Now we're going to do some push-pull, okay? So as you come forward, you're kind of pulling your hands toward your lower body. And then as you go to downward facing dog, you're pushing your hands forward. Okay, so coming through upper push-up, pull. Push your hands forward. Good. One more time. If your shoulders are getting tired, that's good. Just make sure you're organizing and activating so that the stimulus is going to come through the tissue in just the right way that it builds you stronger shoulders. Now this time we'll come to upper push-up and we'll hold it here. Let's just regroup with finger pads pressing down, hands dialing away from each other. Press into your toes. If you want, you can bring your knees down here, but let's try that shoulder blade movement again. So we'll drop the chest down a little bit, squeeze shoulder blades toward each other, and then move up, separating the shoulder blades. Slide down toward each other, open it up, and one more time. Together, and open it. Lovely. Let's find a neutral place between those 2 points. Now bring the knees down, dial your hands away from each other, untuck the toes. Heart is reaching forward as you slowly lower to the mat. Don't go all the way down, press back up, inhale. Exhale, keep your belly lifted. Inhale, lift the heart. Lower about halfway. Inhale, press. And just one more, lower about halfway. Inhale, press. Beautiful. Keep dialing the hands away from each other. You can stay just as you are or press into the top surfaces of your feet. Let your knees come away from the mat. Keep lifting up through the heart. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. If you're dialing your hands away from each other, that should happen automatically. Very nice. Bring knees down, tuck toes, downward facing dog, pushing hands forward. And now, very slowly, walk your feet towards your hands, hip width apart with the feet. Make sure your great toes are straight ahead and feet are about hip width apart, parallel to each other. Okay, let's rise to half lift and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to half lift and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to half lift and exhale, fold. I like to do a lot of these. Let's do some more. Inhale, half lift. Press into your feet, dial your knees away from each other. Once again, are you finding the normal curves of your spine? Are you finding those as you come to half lift? Let it go. We're going to come up and hold this one, half lift. Okay, now let's fine tune. Great toes pointing straight ahead, heels a little wider perhaps. Dial your knees outward. You should actually be able to see them adjust themselves if you're dialing out. Reach back with your tail, very intentionally. And now, where is your gaze? What should be in front of your gaze is the front of your mat or maybe the front edge of your mat for most of you, I can see. Make sure your chin is slightly tucked, your knees are slightly bent, and you're drawing the shoulder blades toward each other a little bit. That's better. Yes. Okay, because remember those muscles between the shoulder blades are phasic muscles. They're not going to turn on unless you ask them. Okay, it's not their fault. That's the way they're made. All right, let's go. Let it go. Keep the knees bent, wrap arms around the back of the knees if that's available to you, or alternatively, you could also just have hands on the outside of the knees because we want to dial the knees into the upper arms or into the hands and create a really strong connection. Feet, we do not actually want to straighten the knees here. So again, I know this kind of a I don't know what to say, a traditional yoga aesthetic, but it is not actually very beneficial for your body. So a little micro bend in the knees is better. Dial the knees into your upper arms, create a strong connection. What's happening at the pelvic floor and lower belly? Press into your feet to lift up. And now we'll let it go. Rolling up nice and slow. Coming to full standing. Take your time. You might feel a little sparkly if you've been, not breathing fully. If you are kind of prone to that, to coming up and like, whoo, just make sure when you're in a forward fold, your breath is extra full, okay? All right, let's do some pranayama. We're gonna have hands to shoulders, in and out through the nose, up and down with the hands. We're rising onto the forefoot. Inhale, exhale. You can move as fast or as slow as you like. And if your shoulders are unhappy with that, you can do a shrug as well, which is actually very good as well. Four, three, two, and one. Let's rise. Great toes are grounded. Then all the rest of the toes are grounded. Even here, we press down into the great toe and energize through the whole leg into the pelvis like we're trying to dial the legs away from each other. Then you can squeeze your seat a little bit extra. Draw the energy up the inseams of your legs to pelvic floor and lower belly. And then every breath, you're just moving the energy upward through the diaphragm, through the pericardium of the heart, through the throat, through the crown of the head. Smooth breath, pull it up. If your balance feels wobbly, push down more. That is a secret right there. Push down more. You see? So we want to be here long enough so we're starting to feel this up the back of our legs. Calves, hamstrings, glutes. One more deep breath. Let's bring the arms down. We'll bring hands to heart center. Then bend the knees, bend the hips. Move into kind of a chair pose, toe stand. While you're here, experiment with lifting your heels just a little more. Breathe. Now we'll stay here just a bit longer and try to spread the feet apart. Make sure the knees spread apart. Nice. And now squeeze your feet towards center. Nicely done, everybody. Heels down, lift your toes, fall forward. And now here, bend and straighten your knees alternately. You don't have to have hands on floor, no problem. Lift and wiggle out your toes. And then we're going to swing the arms back and then forward and up. Hands come to Namaskar mudra. Beautiful. Inhale, arms to the sides and overhead. Lace your fingers and bring them to the back of your head. Okay, beautiful. Keep your chin a little bit tucked here. If your shoulders are a little bit grumpy, you can always bring them forward a bit. If they feel quite happy in this position, then work with pressing them back, okay? Now, at the same time, I want you to just notice what your body naturally does, because observing our habits is a really important part of changing them, right? If they need to be changed. So tuck your chin, press the head back into your hands, and you'll probably right away feel your upper back wakes up. But what's happening here? From pubic bone to breastbone, make sure that is engaged as well. So often get asked, like, does that mean they have to move together? It's not exactly that. However, if your body has a habit of spilling anteriorly, then yes, those have to pull together. It's more we want to tug up on the pubic bone. We want to pull the pubic bone up, because if we do that, that just neutralizes pelvic position and rib cage. Okay, so pull up on the pubic bone, lift through the crown of the head. Take a big inhale here, and then we'll tip over toward the left side. Ground into your feet, but especially into your right foot, and elongate up through the right elbow. Keep pressing your head into your hands and your hands into your head. And then see about bringing the right elbow back just a little bit. Maybe you can even rotate the head, and you're still pressing the head into your hand. Breathe. You'll feel one continuous chain of connection from your right foot, through the leg, through the pelvis, through the trunk, through the shoulder, the arm, and the hand. Really good. Let's rotate the head back to center, tip the body back up. Close your eyes for a moment and compare sides of the body, right side versus left side. Let's tip over to the right side now. Ground into your feet, but especially your left foot. Energize like you're dialing it out. Reach up through your left elbow. Keep pressing your head to your hands. Maybe you're going to drift that left elbow back a little bit and rotate the head, looking up towards your left elbow. Keep the breath steady. Keep the breath steady. What's happening? Pubic bone to breastbone. Really nice. Let's rotate the head back to center and come back up and bring the arms down. Let's just close the eyes for one moment. Hands can come to Namaskar mudra, and we're going to Take Surya Namaskar Asana. Inhale, reach the arms to the sides and overhead. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or hop back to upper push-up position. You're welcome to bring knees down here, but first I would shift the heart forward, so whether your knees are coming down or not, and then lower to the mat for chaturanga, whatever version you want. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, downward facing dog, pushing your hands toward the front of the mat as you dial the hands away from each other. Breathe. Stand on your left foot, right foot goes up. Keep pressing your hands forward. This will help you. Press your left foot back. Let's take a really big inhale and then shift your body forward, looking forward, and then bring the right leg under your body. Step the foot through. Bring your back knee down. Hands to thigh. Great toe grounds, knee dials out, pushing back into the toes of your left foot. So if your foot is off to the side or something, make sure your great toe is pointing straight ahead and start really pushing back into the toe. You might decide you're going to straighten that left knee. And it's fine if you don't straighten that knee, okay? You can just keep pushing back. Now, this is a very important thing that's happening on the back leg. This is called hip extension. So you want to find the end of how far you can bring your femur behind the pelvis. And then you want to reinforce that with a squeeze of the glutes. Again, glutes are phasic. They're not going to turn on, well, rarely, unless you ask them. So really ask them. Push through the toes. Inseam of the leg to pelvic floor is active. And then we're squeezing the glutes. Stay here if you like, or if you want, you're going to raise the hands, lace the fingers. You could steeple them and energize like you're pulling the hands apart from each other. Here again, we want to be aware of pubic bone to breastbone. Now, once again, let's feel there's a continuous connectivity from your left foot through the left leg and hip and pelvis and core and body through the arms. Push into your toes. One more deep breath here, and we'll bring the hands back down. Really nice step back, downward facing dog. Just take a nice deep breath here. So I know it can be problematic for stepping the foot through and stepping back to downward facing dog. If you are okay with the struggle, then struggle with that until you find that, oh, okay, I see, I'm gaining some ground there. I'm getting some space. Or you can simply put your hands on blocks, and that will clear the path for you. So I'll demonstrate that. Okay, so you're in downward facing dog. We're going to lift up, stand on the right foot, lift up the left foot. Then look between the hands, bring the leg under the body, step your foot through, back knee comes down, and then hands come to thighs. Okay, and here's where we're pushing back into the toes of our right foot such that we activate the inseam of the leg, but then we're going to put the extra glute squeeze there. That's good, Kim. Yes. Beautiful. If you want, your hands can come up, and if you want, your knee can straighten. So those are our options. You can stay right here and work with pushing back through the toes. This is great, right here. It's all about establishing these connections, because what we're trying to do is teach the body really effective ways of stabilizing and then being able to sustain a position, you know, in an optimal position. Then what's happening here as we activate muscles and tension fascia is we are increasing electron flow through the tissue, which informs the next generation of connective tissue. It literally aligns the proteins in a more organized manner, which allows for better energy flow. Nice deep breathing now. Okay, so now we'll bring the hands down. If you're using blocks, hands go on the blocks here, lift your belly, and then step back. You can also do chaturanga with hands on blocks. So let's take a big inhale and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then we stay in downward facing dog for a few breaths. Beautiful. Now this is the time to just get with yourself. Your heart should be beating very strongly now. So why not tune in to the beating of your heart? Your body is always recreating itself. And if you are in doubt about that because of, the messages you've been receiving kind of relentlessly in the marketplace and society, then just remember like how the body constantly does heal itself. You've observed it. You've cut yourself before. You've hurt something before. You've abraded skin before. You may have had surgery before. And the body repairs it. And your body is responding to the stresses you put on it in a class. This is a good kind of stress. It responds by building you stronger tissue. And, quite frankly, like sometimes these, the stresses and even the adaptation is not super comfortable. But your body is gathering its resources and it's doing something to help you. So again, it's kind of, if you frame it that way, I think you'll have a much more positive experience with it all. So now take your time. We're going to come back to the front of the mat. Walk, step, or hop to the front. Extend your spine in that half lift position. Find that beautiful alignment. That's it. And then fall forward. And let's come all the way up as we take the arms back and then forward and up. And exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. Beautiful. Let's do some more pranayama. We're going to be talking about breathing very specifically in a few weeks, but probably if you haven't done the breath hold test yet, doing pranayama is going to really increase your time on that breath hold test, if you care. So let's have the feet about hip width apart. Inhale the arms to about shoulder height, nice and wide. Take a big breath here, and then exhale, pump the knees and thump the chest. Keep your fingers spread open wide. This is so that you're tensioning the arm lines, which will prevent your elbows from flailing about. Okay. Good. And I'm not thumping my chest because of the mic, but I would recommend a good solid chest thump there. Okay? Yeah, there you go. That's much better. You're actually stimulating the thymus gland, which is a very important lymphatic organ. A lot of people say this is like very important to your immune function. So, and the heart is right there too. This vibration is really healthy for those organs and glands. Okay, we're going to come to center, and we're going to give ourselves an experience here. So first of all, let's get everything organized and activated. So great toes are pointing straight ahead. Energize through your legs like you're dialing them away from each other. Do it quite strongly. Squeeze your seat. Pull up through the inseams of the legs and pelvic floor and then lower belly, and then lift up through the heart and the crown of the head, and just feel this fountain of energy moving up the central channel of your body. Drop shoulders away from your ears. Take your thumbs, point them back behind you. And breathe. Feel your heart thumping away in your chest. Slow down the breath and make it deep and nourishing. Good. We want to move into a little bit of fatigue. You might even think of it as discomfort. Just show yourself how you can breathe through it. And then we're going to link the hands. Just link the fingers like this. Drop your shoulders again. Pull your hands apart. And then spin your body toward the right. You're going to push down a little more strongly into left foot. Energize through the left leg like you're dialing it out, and then really squeeze the left buttocks. And now actively squeeze the right shoulder toward the left buttocks, pulling your right hand away from your left hand rolling your eyes toward the right. And now make your breath a bit stronger, deeper, wider. Feel the connection between your right hand and arm and right shoulder, your left hip, your leg and foot. Trace that sensation through your body. Good. Let's bring the head around. Come through center, flip the hands, and other direction. Once again, you're going to push down through your right foot. Good. Energize like you're dialing it out. Squeeze your right buttocks. And now activate your left shoulder blade towards your right buttocks. Pull your left hand away from your right hand. Look back as far as you can. Breathe. Feel the connection. So try not to leave that part out. The feeling is really important. Some people say that if you can't feel it, you can't heal it. So this is us remembering our body, remembering it, pulling it back into our awareness. All right, let's bring the head around. Let the body follow. And let the arms come down. Feet together at the front of the mat. Inhale, reach. Now the arms feel nice and free. Take it all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or hop back, upward push-up position. Dial your hands away from each other. Bring your knees down if you like, but shift your heart forward first. Lower for chaturanga, your version. Chaturanga is not important. I've said this before. Let's come into downward facing dog. Stand on your left foot, right foot goes up. Inhale. Exhale, bring your knee between your arms. Hug your belly up. Inhale, reach up. This is a good place to have hands on the blocks if you need. We're going to do a few more repetitions. Inhale, right foot goes up. Exhale, right thigh hugs toward the torso. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee between arms. Look at how we are shifting forward, okay? Shoulders over the hands. Okay, this time we're going to step through. Look forward, hug the thigh to your belly, kick the foot through, plant it, and bring the back knee down. Beautiful. Hands to thigh. And now the left hand will go up. Press your palm to the sky and stretch your palm open so it blanches the tissue. Beautiful. Now we're going to push into the left toes again. Notice what's happening here because we're going to load this leg in a moment, and if the knee is falling in, that's going to be really wobbly. So we need to dial it out, push straight back into the toes, and then we can push back and come up. And just so you know, you are not really coming up with the thigh and pelvis. You're coming up from the foot. Push into the foot to come up. This is really important. Now, this left hand is going to come across the right thigh. If you want, you can always put back knee down for a moment here and then come back to having the knee lifted. But hopefully you feel stable enough to sustain it. If you don't, it's not a problem. We're all walking forward, class by class, getting stronger, getting more connected, getting better awareness, proprioception. Let's take one more big deep breath here. And then we'll bring the hands to the mat and we'll step back, downward facing dog. Let's just take a moment in downward facing dog. Standing on the right foot, left foot goes up. Inhale, exhale, knee between arms. Inhale, pushing those blocks forward if you have your hands on blocks. Exhale, knee between the arms. So just because you have more space under you doesn't mean you don't need to pull the thigh up. Okay, we really want to pull the thigh into the body. Okay, one more time. Pull it under, then look forward and step your foot through. Back knee will come down for now, and we'll bring hands to thighs. Beautiful, great toe grounds, knee dials out. This helps us tuck the hip back. Then we push straight back into the toes. Right hand's gonna go up, spread your palm open wide. So there's no limp hands or toes in yoga. Not in this yoga. Spread your fingers open wide. like you mean it. Push back into the toes. If you want, you can lift the back knee. And you're making the knee straight because of the toes. It's pushing through the toes. You can keep your knee down, but you want to feel from the toes, through the thigh, into the glutes, the connection, that strong connection. There should be no weight on the knee if your knee is down also. The weight is in the toes. Okay, now the elbow will come across. Palm comes to palm, shoulder rotates back. Feel your back foot. Feel yourself pushing back, energy coming through that right leg to pelvis and lower belly. Very good. One more deep breath, guys. Okay, hands to the mat or hands to blocks. Stepping back. Energize the hands on the blocks as though you're dialing them away from each other, shifting forward. Lowing chaturanga. Feel free to put knees down first. Inhale, lift the heart. Tuck toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, so back to downward facing dog. Feel free to choose a different posture if you feel you need a little bit more restoration, or if there's something you want to attend to during this next few breaths, feel free to do that. But if you're in downward facing dog, observe your breath, slow it down, and feel into that connection between the upper and lower body energies. Pushing hands forward, feet press back, energy converging behind the navel in front of the spine. Can you see, can you feel, can you experience how that makes you feel stronger? I want you to think of the electricity, the electrons that are flowing through this tensioned tissue right now. That is the kind of information your cells need. It's the stimulation they need to build your next generation of tissue. Building it in a very organized manner. Beautiful. Let's look forward. Walk, step, or hop. Extend your spine as you arrive here. Exhale, fold. Swing your arms back and then forward and up. And exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. Beautiful. Let's do some chair breathing. Okay, another pranayama is very vigorous. Make sure that your knees don't drift together. We're going to keep them apart, so we're dialing out the whole time. And again, fast or as slow as your body feels open to today, okay? So we inhale and exhale. It's in and out through the nose. If you're feeling super frisky, drop a little lower. If your knees are grumpy, then you need to be in more of an experimental state where you're just observing and feeling, like how are you responding? Your body needs to know you're going to respect it. Respecting it doesn't mean avoiding movement. Respecting it means testing, observing, responding. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Have a seat. Okay, great. Toes pointed straight ahead, heels a little wider. So I want you to bring your body weight into your heels a little more. Reach your tail back a little more. Lift your heart a little more. Lift the corners of your mouth if you want to do the more advanced version of this posture. All right, let's swing the arms back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if your body is, again, open to it,
You're going to let your body bounce a little bit at the bottom, okay? Keep your knees really bent. This is really good for your fascia, so bounce it out. Okay, let's come up. Hold it here. Lace your fingers, hands to the back of the head. Press your head back, keep chin tucked. Bring your feet a little closer together. Stand your weight into your left foot. Energize through the left foot like you're dialing it out. Free up your right foot, toe touches the floor or the mat behind you. Then go back into feeling your left leg. Great toes grounding, knees dialing out. This will help you activate through the glutes. Squeeze your glutes a little more firmly if you can. Keep lifting the heart, get as tall as you can here. And toe comes away from the mat. Now this lifted leg, you are firmly squeezing your seat. And try to make your leg longer. Reach through the great toe or the great toe mound. It's also totally acceptable and encouraged to have one hand on the wall. So you may observe your body doing a little bit of shaking. This is your nervous system seeking more information. So a finger on the wall is more information. It's telling your nervous system where you are, okay? And when your body moves a lot, that's also just, where am I, where am I, where am I? I need more information. So let your body go through that learning process. All right, let's release. Shake that out. Very simple, hey? That probably would not get a lot of clicks on Instagram. Unless you were naked. Press the hands into head. Well, I'm just saying. You know it. Great toe grounds, knee dials out, toe goes back. Chin is tucked. Just take your foot just off the floor. Make that leg longer now. Lots of activity here. And then just observe, like, does your body want to curl forward to maintain balance, or can you keep drawing up on the pubic bone, lifting through the heart? There is nothing wrong with having one finger on a wall. What that allows you to do is stay in the posture while your nervous system learns. So I would encourage you to do that. If there's the choice is between not being in the posture because you don't want to use a finger on the wall, or, being in the posture for much longer, I would choose that because you're establishing a new neuromuscular pathway. And that's the work that needs to happen. Okay, let's bring the foot down. Release the arms. Pat yourself on the back. Let's stand into our left foot now. How are you guys doing? I'm just hearing a lot of sighs now. Okay, great toe grounds. This knee dials out. We're going to get tall on the hip. Okay, let's just bring up the right thigh. Hand to thigh. Push. Okay, now I want you to feel your body. This push should activate your front body. So now when you take your hand away, it should feel like your leg can just float there. Yes? Good thing to learn. Now we're going to push that heel behind us and step the foot down. Nice. Heel drops down, arms rise to shoulder height, and we're going to tip over for Trikonasana. Now, in Trikonasana, please, at least for this one time, don't try to get as low as you can in Trikonasana because it will take you out of the fascial line arrangement of your body, the scaffolding. So instead, we're going to just make sure we can bend and straighten our knees here a couple of times, so both at the same time.
And then we'll go into straight knees without locking them, and we'll energize through the feet and legs like we're dialing them away from each other. And the more you press down, the more energy you're going to pull up into the body. So let yourself feel that. Feel the flow. What is energy? You know, we talk about energy as though like it's some nebulous thing. But you can literally feel that in your body. That's what you're feeling. Breathe. Now, one thing about Trikonasana, I'm going to probably have to say many, many times, is observe where you're looking. Where's your gaze? If it's down your body, do you see how that just pulled me out of position? So you've got to make sure your eyes are straight ahead or looking up. And that is not really about some kind of aesthetic for the posture. It's about, again, better habit in your body. Okay, let's bend the knee and come up. We're Virabhadrasana 2. Great toe grounds, knee dials out. Let's drop in. Again, this is where your body feels prepared to go based on its past history, based on what we've done so far this morning. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Let's spread the fingers open wide. You can take a Yan Mudra. You can make a fist. You can do whatever you want here, but keep your hands super active. And even here, we're dialing out. See if shoulders can be away from the ears. And then we'll turn the right hand. No, that's the left hand up. Looking up. Breathe. Once again, notice what's happening between pubic bone and breastbone. Am I drawing upward on my pubic bone? Wow, I saw some really good little adjustments there. Excellent. Okay, let's bring the hand down. We're going to load into our front leg. So turn your body forward. You guys are stepping to the front of the mat. Back toes tuck under. You're going to lean into your front leg and launch yourself off the back leg. Beautiful. You can bring hands to hips for the moment. Stand on right foot. Engage like you're dialing it out. You're going to squeeze the butt. Get tall here. Lifting left thigh. Hand to thigh. Push. Again, you're in charge of how much push you're doing, but I can tell you that the more you push, the more you engage, push down, push up, activate, the more you'll get a neurological response. So the floatier you're going to feel. So let's just do this. Do it lots, lots, lots. And then we're going to let go. And it's just like, wow, it's just, right, you guys? Not if it doesn't knock you out of your posture. Super, super floaty. We're going to be playing with that. So let's bring that foot now back behind us. Find the mat, drop your heel, inhale, shoulder height, exhale, Trikonasana. Let's go into exploring this pose by bending and straightening the knees a few times. Okay, now we're not going to lock our knees. Knees are unlocked. We're dialing feet and knees away from each other. Even here, let your torso spin open. Pay attention to where your gaze is. Where are your eyes looking? So your optic nerve, the fascia from that nerve feeds into some of your suboccipital muscles. These are at the base of the skull, top of the neck. And they are very, very sensitive to your head position. Where your head goes, your body's going to follow. So if you want to have better upper back alignment, you need to get your head in the right position, that your eyes help you to do that. So your eyes need to look straight ahead or upward. This makes a really big difference from looking down your body to looking straight ahead or looking up. Feel into your back body for a moment here. Yes, really good. Okay, now we'll bend the right knee, tip the body up. For Virabhadrasana, just having arms at shoulder height for now. Remember, have hands super, super active. Lori, come a little wider with your stance. I think this will make it a little bit easier for you. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. You're dialing out with both legs once again. This is, you see this habit? It's not like, I need to remember 17 different habits. It's just one habit. Dial out. One habit. Inhale, let's reach up. Now we can easily forget the lower body here because our gaze is lifted out of the body. So try to hold your gaze upward, but hold your body in your awareness. See if we can make a stronger connection between body and conscious mind. That's when you really have power to change what's going on in your body. And by that I mean changing maybe habits that haven't been serving you so well for better ones. Beautiful. Let's bring the arms down. We're going to come back to the front of the mat. So we'll bring hands front center, tuck your toes under, hop forward a little bit if you need to, but you'll find if you lean into this front leg with knee dialing out, you'll be able to launch yourself forward. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, come forward and down. Wiggle your feet apart and bring your seat down into a squat. So we're all going to be working on our squat, and we're all in different stages. A squat like this has to do with ankle range of motion, knee, and hip. Okay, it's not one thing. We can't sort of put one thing under attack. So let's all rise out of our bottom a little bit. Press down, dial your knees away from each other, and now gather up through the pelvic floor. Yep, if your butt is way up, sink your butt, lift your shoulders. It doesn't matter how low you are, because believe me, this halfway point is actually more work. So it's not like you're cheating or anything like that. Okay, let's press, press, press. And then we're gonna bring the hands down. We're gonna move the hands and then the feet. The hands and then the feet. Okay, let's go back. Hands and feet. Hands and feet. Hands and feet. Let's do it back. Hands and feet. Hands and feet. Hands and feet. One more time. Hands and feet. This is good to practice at home. And feet. Come back to your mat. Hands and feet. And we'll come back into the center. Let's sink our seat and lift our feet. So taking Navasana. Feel free to take a little break if you need. And also, feet could be down for Navasana if you need. Great toe edges together. Lift the heart, shoulders are back. Steady breathing. Beautiful. Now let's cross the ankles. Hands to the mat. Step or hop your feet back. Bring your knees down and lie on your belly. Let's start by sliding our arms forward, thumb side up. Okay, thumb side up. Press into your feet for a moment and press into your hands for a moment and activate your front body. So you're going to point your pubic bone downward, try to lift your belly, press into the pinky side of your hands and into the top surfaces of your feet, perhaps so that the knees come up. Let's just breathe here. You're tucking your tail a little bit. This is very much a front body activation. And then we're going to let that go. We're going to activate the back body, but try to keep a little residue of activation in the front body. Pubic bone is pressing down, and then we'll lift the legs and the arms. Beautiful. Now here, keep your chin a little bit tucked. Try to keep your shoulders into your body, but make your elbows straight, if possible. One more breath. Very nice. Let's rest it out. Forehead can rest on stacked hands. Feel free to bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs. Wonderful. Let's keep the knees bent, hold the legs still, lift your head, and then swim your arms back toward your legs without touching them. Okay, so now we're going to lift the heart a little more. Reach with the arms, pick up your thighs, and just hold for airplane tail pose. Now, if you're able to access it a little more, squeeze the butt a little more. Feel the heart beating, feel the breath in the belly, or the movement of the diaphragm between the heart and the belly. Very nice. We're going to bring that down, take a little rest again. Beautiful. Good. Now this time, we'll let the legs stay down, but keep a bit of energy in them so you can press into the top surface. You're going to just take the arms out to shoulder height, sort of in a T position. Lift the heart, lift the arms, and then we're going to swim the arms forward, thumbs come up, and then we'll turn and bring palms back, okay? So let's swim forward, thumbs up, swim, thumbs down, swim forward, and swim, pull yourself through. Keep your chin tucked. Good, one more time. Arms coming forward, and swim it through, and then cheek to the side, rest it out. Let's bring the elbows under the shoulders. Spread your hands open wide, rooting into the pads of your fingers once again. And even here, we're energizing through the arms, through the hands, arms and shoulders, like we're dialing the hands away from each other. So turn that on, press into the tops of your feet. Again, that is so you will feel a response in the belly, and then use that to lift the belly away from your mat a little bit. So lift the belly. Pubic bone can be down, but you want to lift the belly. Keep dialing the hands away from each other. Make sure your shoulders are away from the ears. And then start to pull the hands towards you, trying to cave the belly a little bit more. Breathe. And if you can, tilt your heart up just a little bit, but you want to keep lifting the belly. Do not sacrifice that. And now you can really squeeze your seat if you want. We're turning on some of the muscles that don't automatically turn on. And these are the abdominals, the front of the trunk, and the glutes. So I want you to really turn on those front abdominal muscles and the glutes, like you mean it. All right, let's release that. Elbows can come out. We'll bend the knees, reach back. If it works in your body, you can catch insteps or ankles. Lift the heart, press your feet into your hands to lift your thighs. But if that doesn't work so well, you can go back to airplane tail pose, which is a fantastic back body pose. Dhanurasana is more of a front body pose. Can I do this? That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's not gonna go. That's okay. Beautiful. Okay, relax it out. But this time we'll have hands beside the chest, press back for child's pose. You guys knew that the class was 3 hours today, right? Sorry, that wasn't very funny. So again, I want you to observe that, you've been going very deep. This is so different than like high velocity yoga, right? Yeah, it's very different. You're having a profound effect. In high velocity yoga, you don't get to these places. You don't get to give your body this much stimulation. especially for those phasic muscles that we really need to wake up. Okay, so now let's lace the fingers from where you are. Have your elbows a little narrower than shoulder width apart, okay? Good. You're gonna tuck your toes and put weight into your forearms and hands. Push your forearms and hands forward on the mat as you lift your seat up. So we're going into dolphin pose.
So it's just like downward facing dog, only you're on your forearms and you're going to press down into your forearms and then push your forearms forward. If that feels like a lot for your shoulders, is really unfamiliar, please keep your knees down, but still push down into your forearms and push them forward. This is going to help you regain and maintain that shoulder position that we're so prone to losing. Okay, so let's just spend a little bit more time here, pressing down and pushing forward. If you feel like playing around, you could lift one leg. And then switch, pushing down and pushing forward. And then we'll bring it down. Let's bring the knees down. Walk your hands back so your hands are approximately the level of your knees. You're going to let your chin tuck and then roll onto the top of your head. Pressing down into your palms and dialing your hands away from each other even here. So allow your body to shift forward and put some weight on your head. Keep pressing into your hands. You can push through your toes a little bit. Let your crown take a little bit of pressure. Very good. And then tuck the toes and come back to seated. Use your hands. You can just take your legs out in front of you, or you could move through downward facing dog and hop through to seated. We're all going to go back into Navasana one more time. This time we'll do a little bit of rotating, so let's kind of steeple the fingers here. Take a big breath in the center and then exhale to the right. Inhale center, exhale left. No rush, inhale. Exhale. Remember, you could be doing this with feet down. Inhale, exhale. I hope that you're seeing that the emphasis is on the activation, not so much what the posture looks like. We're going for what's the feel. Can I feel my body getting more and more connected, more and more stable, more and more aware? Let's just do one more on each side. There is an end in sight. Yes! Bring it in. Beautiful. Cross your ankles and just rest it out. All right, we're going to bring the legs out straight ahead in front of us. Take your blocks. Put a block under each knee. If you don't have blocks, like a foam roller would be great too. Okay, you're gonna dig the heels in, raise the arms up, reach your thumbs back, keep lifting up through the heart. Pull your toes towards your knees, lean back. Okay, so you want to feel like you might tip over. Try to keep your heels grounded. And then we'll slide forward. Bringing the hands down, I want you to just intend your heart forward and see how much your body will bend at the hip. Wherever it bends is fine, and then you're going to pick up your heels. Now, if to pick up your heels you went like this, then start over, heart lifted, pick up your heels. So you want to be in a place where you have the leverage to do that. If you have to do this to get the legs active, then that's just a weak area. We just need to go back to where we have mastery over the position, and we'll incrementally get stronger from there. You can't like skip over parts. It doesn't really work that way. Keep the heart lifting.
So you should always hold yourself like you are the king or the queen of your life. That is not an ego thing, it's a posture thing, okay? It's posture. Lift your heart, okay? Keep this going. If there's shaking going on, that's good, right? That's neuromuscular recruitment. It's good stuff. Yeah, you cannot hurt yourself here. You can get tired, but you can't hurt yourself. Okay, so back to being a queen. This is important because when you walk with heart lifted, we all have crowns, then it affects your interoceptors, your emotional well-being, the way you look at the world. It affects everything. You'll find you'll have more patience with people, more patience with yourself, more access to problem solving. Okay, let's bring the heels down. Relax the feet, shake out the legs. We're running out of time. Hate when that happens. Great toe edges come together, palms come together. Let's peel back down. You can let your feet pop up. There may still be just a little tiny gap at the low spine. It's all good. If you feel like you're in control here, you've got this. Good, let's just hold it for a breath or two. If it doesn't feel like you have it, be here activating. This will be a better position. You can activate muscles like crazy right here with the knees bent. So no problem. Okay, now we're all going to hold. Plant the feet. Roll the head down. Have your feet a little narrower than hip width apart. Great toes grounding, knees dialing away from each other. Tuck your shoulder blades under your body slightly. Okay, now press into your feet and energize like you're dialing them away from each other. And then lift your seat. Once your pelvis is lifted, start to push your feet toward the front of the mat. And as you push your feet toward the front of the mat, squeeze your glutes. Beautiful. Let's lower the pelvis. Bring the knees into the chest. Now I'm going to give you an invitation. We're going to work on getting up and down off the ground without using our hands or using our hands minimally. Or you can try rolling to a standing position. Okay? Sit down. Roll back. You do get a little bit of momentum to help you when you do this, so you might enjoy that if you've never tried it before. And if you need to launch yourself forward with your hands, please go ahead and do it. And now, I just want to say a word about getting up and down off the ground with your hands. So do something while I'm talking, okay? But so there, you may have a limitation at ankle, knee, or hip. And what you need to do in these next few weeks is figure out exactly what that is. And I don't mean you need somebody else to tell you. You need to know in your body needs to know, your nervous system needs to know, where are the corners that I don't have access to? Janice, that's great. Yeah, this is great. Okay, so it doesn't have to be up and down like this, okay? It could be like this. It could be like this. Okay, yeah, all right? It's just, can you get up and down off the ground without the use of your hands? And, in real life, you might always use your hands. Again, it's just an indication of what your body is capable of. That's why we're doing it. It's a way of seeing, am I making progress? Yes, use your arms. Yeah. And when I say don't use your hands, I'm not saying don't use your arms like, ha, no problem. You can use your arms. You can go, whatever, your arms can do things. It's just having a hand down. Okay, let's do some lying twists now. Well done, everybody. I hope we're practicing that at home. Okay, let's just bring knees and feet together, keeping it simple. Shoulders falling back into your mat, and knees and feet will drop over to the left side. Maybe left hand will sit on top. Right shoulder sinks, look to the right. So just allow yourself to fall back into the support beneath you. Take your breath slow and deep. When you feel ready to, you can bring the legs back to center, feel center for a moment, and then take it to the right side. Sinking your left shoulder blade, looking left, looking left. Let's bring our knees back to center. Let's wrap the hands around the shins. Rock the body from side to side. Hold the body still, hold the legs still, and then roll your head from side to side. And then take your time. You're going to step the feet down, slide your heels toward the front of the mat. Feel free to gather anything that you need. There are bolsters in the closet if you need, or you can just put blocks under your knees if you like that. Throw a sweater on, anything like that. Now, as we move into our Shavasana time, enter through the sensory experience. So let yourself feel your body, feel where you're contacting the mat, feel the breath, and the body tissues just slowly undulating around the breath. The whole act of breathing is also all about electrons. You're breathing oxygen because they carry electrons. So allow this energy, this is really energy, this is electricity. It comes into your body, it flows through your body. And this body is being built through our practice to hold the charge of the life force. But at this point, you can just let that happen. It's just going to happen all on its own because you've already given your body the stimulus. So now you can just let go, breathe. It's all that's required. I'll call you back when it's time. take some deeper breath. Just allow yourself to just take a few deep breaths here. Feeling into the peace, the subtle vibration of your living body. Maybe establishing a new sense of trust in your body and what it's trying to do, and instead looking for ways to learn more and more about how to support the body in doing its natural healing and adaptation. You know, just testing things that you hear using that framework. So just feeling a sense of gratitude and trust in your body. And then we'll come back to our seat, meet together one more time. Let's sit tall once again. Back on the throne of your life, where you are the sovereign leader, empowered, buoyant, generous, and full of good humor. And from this beautiful place, let's send out a wish, a prayer, an intention for peace, loving kindness, forgiveness. And let this arise from within each of us, toward ourselves, and toward those around us, and for people everywhere. Let's take the mantra Om and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out your mouth. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for practicing, you guys. Namaste. Namaste to your neighbors. Namaste. Namaste, namaste. Wonderful. So any questions this morning? Anything come up for you? Yes?
When you were doing the deep squat, toes have to be facing forward or can they be angled?
So this is a good question. Like in the squat, do toes have to be facing forward or can they be angled? So the reason for encouraging you to, as best you can in your own body with your own angles that you're working with, you want to have the toes forward as much as possible, just because when the toes are forward, you have better access to activating and lifting the arch of the foot and centering the ankle joint, because the ankle has this tibia bone sitting on top of the talus, which is a chunky bone, sitting on top of the calcaneus. And the talus, which is between the long bone and the other chunky bone of the heel bone, so there's a bone between those two, it's not controlled by muscle. It's just got like ligaments strapping it in. And the thing about like repetitive habitual movement, if your feet are turned out, the talus is going to want to slide inward. And then this causes like limited ankle range of motion, and it messes up your foot mechanics. So that's why it's important. Like if you have very like retroverted femurs, and this is your normal stance, then you just have to like go in a little bit and maintain the arches of your foot, because you're going to have so much torque. If you're pigeon-toed, now you're going to have to work extra double, triple hard to create any kind of torque. But that is the reason why we gravitate toward toes straight ahead as much as possible so that we get the arch lifting, the ankles centered, and knees dialing out, and all of that. So it is possible to make that happen with feet turned out. Just make sure that's happening. It's harder to make it happen. You have to work harder when your feet are turned out. And most people can't make it happen because everything wants to slide in. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Cool, yeah. Alrighty.